friends, welcome back to Farm Girl Diaries. My name is Caitlin and we have a lot going on today, so I thought I'd bring you guys along and we just kind of hang out for a little bit while I go over some of the thoughts that I'm having about the garden. So we're down in this today in the pantry because I have a lot of tomatoes coming in and I need to identify where I'm going to put these tomatoes. So I'm down in the pantry and I want to see what my tomato products look like and what I need to make for next year. So last year, what I did is I did a heavy push to can all of my tomato products to hopefully have a 2-year rotation on tomato products. So this is not tomato, that's barbecue. Okay, so this is my tomato sauce. I don't do a lot of tomatoes. I don't do a lot of spaghetti sauce. But I have 2, 4, 6, 8 quarts of spaghetti sauce, and that's more than enough for me. I think I use probably maybe 3 a whole year. So that's more than enough for me. So I heavily canned a lot of my tomato products last year with the hope that I could stagger how often I can certain things. So I don't have to can every single thing every single year. So I'm down here and I want to see where I need to put my focus with the tomatoes that are coming in. So the first thing I want to check was my spaghetti sauce. I know I need to do salsa. I have only 2 pints of salsa left, so I'm 100% going to need to do salsa. The other thing I wanted to check was my tomato soup. I love this tomato soup. This is one of my staples. I have 2, 4, 6, 8, 9 quarts of tomato soup. I did so good last year. I'm not going to lie. I did so good with my Canon projects. I have 2, 4, 6, and I have 1 half pint upstairs, so I have 7 half pints of bruschetta. This is fantastic. If you've never made the bruschetta, this is in the Ball. This is on the Ball website. This is fantastic. You can add onions to it and put it on like some nice bread with some cream cheese on it. That's delicious. But I've also found this makes a super easy dinner. Open this jar with some fresh garlic and fresh pasta and a little bit of olive oil, and that's really all you need for a delicious pasta dinner. So I'm really happy that I have that. I have 1 quart. When did I make these? Of diced tomatoes. I think these are 2 years old. I have 1 quart of Italian diced tomatoes. I do need to probably do a little bit more of diced tomatoes. I think that is the majority of my tomato products. I don't have any chili base on the shelf. My spaghetti sauce has more Italian season in it than what I would like for chili. So I also could do some chili base with my tomatoes. So I think that's what I'm going to do with my first run of tomatoes. Not on this video, but I think I'm going to make a round of chili or chili base to can up and put on the shelves. And then that makes chili super easy. You just open a can, it's already seasoned, already flavored, add the meat, add the beans, call it a day. While I was down here, I threw in a little bit of wash in the washer, so we're being productive today. But now I feel pretty good about what I'm gonna do with all of my tomatoes. So my tomatoes are just starting to kind of roll in. I have some nice looking guys that are getting a little bruised actually. So I think I actually might start those guys today because they are looking a little bruised. I won't do that on this video. But that's going to be delicious. That'll be a great use of those tomatoes. And I know I have more to pick. So we're going to get a basket. And we're going to go see what's out in the garden for us to harvest. Oh, and I also wanted to show. So we have so much work to do. We have so much work to do. It has just been so hot outside. I haven't done anything outside. Today I finally went out in the garden. I weed-eated the flower farm and I did pull a lot of thistle out of the what's going to be the fall bed. But we still have a ton to do. So I wanted to show you some things that I got. So I did get some things in the ground. I ordered some plants. So if you didn't know, right now is the best time to order bulbs for like spring and summer blooming because they're all on sale. Same with seeds. Seeds are also really on sale too right now. So I ordered all these bulbs and they were all on sale. So I got a couple of daylilies and a couple of dahlias. I already went out, threw them in the ground already. I threw them in the ground when it was raining in hopes that they at least get started growing. They're not going to produce this year, but at least they can get started. And I decided this year that I am going to overwinter all of my dahlias. I am not going to pull them from the ground. I especially have one dahlia that I don't touch. I let it overwinter every single year, and it does great. It's huge. It's absolutely massive, and I only have one dahlia that I planted this year that's starting to produce. So I'm going to, and then I did pull dahlias last year, and I overwintered them, or so I overwintered them in my basement, and I planted them, and none of them have come back. So I really feel like I have better success leaving the bulbs in the ground. So that's why I wanted to get them in the ground, at least get them started. And then I will bring you guys along when I overwinter them. I'm thinking I'm just gonna put a heavy layer of straw on the top of where these bulbs live. And then they should start growing next year just fine. So I ordered that stuff, but I also ordered a whole bunch of other things. I got, so the patio garden, and I'll show you, the patio garden and the windmill garden, I struggle to get bulbs to grow. Weeds just take over. So there was a sale on 85 bulbs for $40. So I bought that. So we got a whole bunch of packages of bulbs that we need to put into the ground in the next month or so, ideally. They're all things that will overwinter, I'm pretty sure. There are some dahlias. There are some glads here. I do see some glads. But we're going to put all of these plants in the ground. And like I said, cover them with straw, and hopefully they're going to be just fine. I don't think I can store them until next spring and plant them next spring. So we're going to take our chances with overwintering. And then I also got a bag of ranunculus, and a bag of, what are these ones? Oh, and this is another thing. I got 2 things of ranunculus that we are going to, this year, this fall, really start talking about how we're going to overwinter some veggies, how we are going to hopefully get some spring plants started now. So we have a lot of things that we're going to be talking about in the next couple of weeks in an effort to get this garden to be even more successful than it already is. So I think that's pretty cool. So my plan is, and when we get there, I'll bring you guys along. I'm going to provide an overwintered bed. I'm going to provide an overwintered bed for my brassicas and lettuces and all that stuff. And then I'm going to make tunnels for my flowers. You can grow things like snapdragons, ranunculus, poppies, all that stuff. You kind of seed in the fall. So we're going to try it and see what happens. So stay tuned for that. But we're in the garden now. And this is the calm before the storm. But let me give you a quick 360, show you what we got going on, and then I'm going to talk to you about what we got going on. Okay, before we go too far in the garden, I wanted to talk about this pumpkin patch. So I'm doing this garden video a bit earlier in the day than I typically do because I need to run the sprinkler in here. I don't know if this is all one pumpkin, if this was multiple pumpkins, I don't know, but there was a big one right here that did die. I tried to water it and it would come back with the water, but then within a couple hours it was dead again. So I don't know if I'm really just that dry. I had that happen with the zucchini for the first time ever too. I had a zucchini that just kept shriveling up and dying, and I would come out and water it and it would boost back to life and then would instantly die again. So it really to me does seem like it wasn't getting enough water, and we are in a drought 100%. But I also thought the amount of water that I was giving it should have lasted a little bit longer than a couple of hours. But what do I know? So we're gonna get what we get with the pumpkins. We're not gonna throw a fit. That was kind of just like I had the space, and any pumpkin I get, I'm going to just use for decoration, basically. So yeah, I'm excited about that. Well, so the pumpkins are what they are. A fail this year, it's not a fail, but it's not a success, is my tomato row. So these are 5 feet tall posts. Okay, oh my gosh, that's so much clearer. I had a screen protector on here, and I kept looking like, this is blurry, this is blurry. I guess the screen protector was blurry. That looks so much clearer now. Anywho, what was I saying? Oh, the tomatoes. So the posts are 5 feet tall, so we can see our tomatoes really haven't done too much. They are very, very low to the ground. And they're struggling to kind of take off. So what we do have an overabundance of is our cherry tomatoes. We're having a ton of cherry tomatoes. But we don't have the number of big tomatoes that I typically always have. And that's going to be okay. Again, I said last year that I did I did enough tomato products for 2 years. So anything I get this year is kind of just a bonus. And we know, I've never had success trellising my tomatoes. I've never liked it. I've never been happy with it. We know that. I thought this system would be fine. It was not. And the problem is they're all growing into each other. Even when I trellis them a little bit, it's better than what this system is. So again, I'm not obsessing about it. I'm not worrying about it. We're going to get what we're going to get. What I am worried about, though, I keep trying to tell myself, we're early. I don't think I'm early, but I don't have green beans coming yet. And I think by now that my green bean arch should be completely covered, and it's not. So I have beans the whole way up, and they're starting to flower. These beans over here are still growing, but they're not producing yet. I don't honestly even see that many flowers. My cucumber is starting to die back, and I'm okay with that. I've gotten a good amount of cucumbers off of it, and I don't even really like cucumbers, so I'm okay with it dying back. So I'm trying to tell myself that we have time for green beans. Don't worry, they don't have green beans yet. And I am worried. What I do have an overabundance of is extra large pickles. I keep finding these pickles, and I've left them on the table. I didn't pick them all yellow, but I keep finding them this absolutely massive, and I don't do anything with them when they get this big. So I'm just kind of like letting them do their own thing. Good news, but crazy news, is this whole patch here. So one thing with my garden is when my garden's not planted, it feels like it's so big. When you plant it, it's not as big anymore. So what we have going on here, these are sweet potatoes, and then I have a whole bunch of beans. I have a couple okra in there, but a whole bunch of beans mixed in here too. I have some beans over here as well along the fence. Sweet potatoes are runners. They do take up a lot of space. So I've never had sweet potatoes do this good. I've never had sweet potatoes do this good. So I'm super excited. That means I'm gonna have a fantastic sweet potato harvest. So if you've been in my garden for a little bit, right here is normally my walk-in path, and that is gone. But that should tell me that these sweet potatoes are going to be massive. And then we have weeds. The one problem with in-ground garden beds is if I pull these weeds, I risk pulling the plant, and I don't want to do that. I don't want to risk disturbing the plant. But we have a lot going on. We have some okra back there. That's just a whole heck of a lot. And then our corn. So I'm going to end this video kind of showing you all the food that we are growing in this garden. But before I do that, I very quickly want to talk about fall garden prep. What I'm doing, what I'm not doing. So in this bed here, I planted my fall potatoes. I just planted my fall potatoes, I think on Sunday. So it's been about 4 days. It's not too late to plant fall potatoes, and I bought my potatoes from the grocery store. I have done grocery store potatoes before. They're cheap, they're easy to grow, they work fine. So I've done that. I do have some big trees, some big bushes I gotta cut down. I gotta get the saw and cut them down. But then I also started working on the fall brassica bed. So this is where we grew spring brassicas. As you can see, we still have some in here. Look at this guy. He's got a ways to go. That plant looks gorgeous. This plant looks gorgeous. And we'll see if I get a cauliflower off of him. He's giving me a little bit of something, something. And then this guy, you see the aphids flying around. I don't think this has anything in it. So this space was the fall brassica bed. It was overridden with slugs. I didn't realize it was slugs, and I lost everything but almost what's in here to slugs. So I started my fall plants already, and they're gonna go in this space. And then I have these PVCs that I need to tie to each other. I need to make sure they stand up straight, because currently they don't. But I am going to get a heavy piece of plastic to put over these arches. I'm stuck in my lights. I'm going to get a heavy piece of plastic to put over this. And this I'm going to try to overwinter brassicas and lettuces as long as I can. Really as long as I can. So that's something we've never done before. We've never overwintered, or we've never tried to do like a plastic row cover, anything like that. We basically say when the frost comes, let everything have it. We're fine. So we'll see what happens. So that space is cleared out and ready. I have the fall plants started, and I'm in the process of hardening them off now. It is still hot, and my brassicas are, the starts are definitely struggling. I will be honest, they're definitely struggling in this heat. So what I'm probably gonna do is when I plant them, I'm probably gonna purchase a shade cloth and put a shade cloth over that until probably about mid-September, early September, and try to keep them as cool as possible. Other things that we're not doing. So this bed here, we have a couple of beets, a lot of grass, and then some sunflowers that are finally growing. This bed, along with, I have a similar bed up there, are going to hold fall carrots and possibly even another round of fall beets. I'm not really sure. Probably just fall carrots. These I'm not messing with. So you might look at this and say, Keelan, this is so messy. Do something about this. I'm not messing with this yet. My beets are still a little small. I'm giving them probably about another week or two to put some size on them. But the thing is, the earth wants to cover itself. So if I were to clear out this entire bed, I am not ready to plant carrots yet. I will plant carrots when I plant the brassicas. So I don't want to empty this bed and let it stay empty until I'm ready to sow it. Things that happen, earth will cover itself with weeds, so it'll be a waste of time. You could have erosion, you could have your dirt washing away if you have nothing to hold it in place. So even though it's messy and ugly, I prefer to wait until I'm ready to actively plant those beds before I tear everything out. So you can see here I have my peas. This bed is going to be another pea bed for the spring. And I'm still even getting snow peas. That's a good snow pea. Let's have a snack. That's good. Oh my god, that's good. This is going to be another snap pea, snow pea bed in the fall. So I'm waiting until I'm ready to plant this bed, and then I'll rip the dead plants out. I have some compost I'll put down, and then I'll replant it. It's a fun little snack. This one is a little dirty. Okay, so that's what's going on over here. We have a lot of work to do. I feel a lot better since I got this all taken out of there, but it never fails. Every single July and August, and we're in July right now, every single July and August I'm like, I don't care, I don't want to do the work, I'm out. But once September rolls around, we kind of want to come back in the garden and start doing work again. And so I'm kind of expecting that to happen again this year. I'm hopeful because I have a lot I need to do. So we need to get down there in the windmill garden. We need to get those bulbs that I was showing you earlier planted. We need to get them planted up there in the patio garden as well. And we have food that's just starting to roll in. So we have a busy next couple of months ahead of us, and I am so excited for it. It's always a great time. And then one thing I do want to say is people ask me both in my real life and on social media, there's so much going on. Like if you look at this garden, there is so much going on. And I put this garden to bed every year. I don't leave anything growing in this garden when I put it to bed. So like, how do you reclaim this space? It is surprisingly easy how fast I can reclaim this space. I do an hour here, an hour there, an hour there, an hour here. And it comes together very quickly. Typically by Thanksgiving, my entire garden is put to bed and I am done doing the garden work. I might still have some processing to do, but I'm typically done the full garden work. So if you are interested in gardening, you're thinking about gardening, but then like the mess of all of this looks like it might be too much for you, don't worry about it. It's not that much. It actually comes together very easily. Okay. So now that my neighbors decided to mow, I'm at the end of this video anyway, so that works out great. So I just want to walk you around and show you some of the gorgeous food that is coming in out of the garden. There's still weeding we have to do, still mulching that we should probably be doing, but I'm so happy with how this garden's looking. So thank you guys for joining me. I'll see you in the next video. Bye friends.